Hey everyone, thank you for being here today. My name is Quinten. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm the head of marketing and growth at the Zano project. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our project, what it's about. And after about 45 minutes, hopefully you will walk away with the Zano mobile wallet in your pocket and some free Zano and some knowledge about the Zano ecosystem. So this is actually pretty straightforward for most people here, I think. I don't need to get over this in detail, but the issues of fiat money, it's centrally issued. People can print as much money as they like, the government, which causes hyperinflation in many countries. It's controlled by the government, and soon it actually gets way worse. Here in the United States, you guys have a backdoor CBDC via the Genius Act that was passed like 2 days ago. But in Europe, we actually have an even worse problem, which is the digital euro, which is going live this year as early as October already. And it will, of course, not be mandatory at first, but it will be rolled out in phases. You'll have certain benefits when you use the digital euro. And who knows when they will make it mandatory. It's a very bad thing. So there's actually a solution to this, which is blockchain, an emerging technology, blockchain, which is often decentralized. It has a fixed inflation, but there's a problem, which is the on-chain nudity that many blockchains have. So, for example, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, they all have complete transparency of their blockchain, which is a little bit like sitting on this toilet right here. I wouldn't want to be sitting on that toilet. And you don't want that same thing with your financial privacy, right? I mean, if I make a transaction with you, I could see then your blockchain address, your balance, the transactions you did, your entire history, where you did them, when you did them, which is actually a very dangerous thing. So then there's Zano. Zano is confidential, secure, and easy to use. So it's actually completely private by default, meaning that you can't see amounts, you can't see asset types transacted. And I say that because you can actually launch your own assets on top of Zano. So it's a million times better, and it actually keeps you as the end user safe from bad actors. So here's an example of that. This illustration shows that nicely. You can actually see with Ethereum on the left who sent it, when he did that, how much, what asset type, USDC in this case, and to whom. Whereas with Zano, all you can see is that a transaction happened on the blockchain as an outsider. So what is Zano? Zano is a layer 1 blockchain that is optimized for private transactions, peer-to-peer trade, and actually also a platform for assets and dApps that anyone can launch on top of Zano. And it's secured by a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake, consensus algorithm. This is a mouthful, but actually this is way more secure than, for example, pure proof of work, because not only would you need majority of the hash rate to do a double spend attack, but on Zano you would also need a significant amount of the total staked coins, which means that you would need to buy millions of coins from someone, centralized exchange, decentralized exchange. I don't know where you'll get them from, even because there's not even that many coins offered on the exchanges. And of course, by buying them, this also drives the price up. And usually for double spend attacks, the incentive is financial benefit. And by having a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake setup, you take away that financial incentive, that financial benefit. So now a little bit about the history of Zano blockchain. It was launched in 2019, but already developed since 2014 because there was a predecessor project named Bullberry that became Zano in 2019. So the code base has actually already been developed for over a decade, and Zano mainnet has been live for over 6 years already. Back in May this year was a 6th birthday of the Zano blockchain. So it's been created by Andrei Sabolnikov, which is also the creator of the CryptoNode code base. So back in 2013, he worked on a project named Bytecoin, which was the first ever privacy coin, actually. And Monero forked Bytecoin, which was initially called BitMonero, which later on became Monero. And Andrei continued to start his own blockchain, which was Blueberry, which later on became Zano. And Zano was actually at first created as a peer-to-peer digital cash, just like Monero, but later on with the Zarkanum hard fork, it evolved to into a platform for private assets. So actually, every one of you here can actually launch their own asset on top of Zano, and the cost is very low, and it only takes you a couple minutes. So we'll get into that a little bit later during this presentation. So here you can see Zarkanum hard fork. It actually had a bunch more changes. It introduced proof of stake with hidden amounts. That's actually a first in all of crypto. So with traditional proof of stake, usually you reveal your coin amount to the network in order for the network to validate what your stake is. But now with Zano, actually you can stake in complete anonymity on Zano because we have implemented hidden amounts on top of proof of stake. It introduced confidential assets. So actually from within the mobile wallet that we will download a little bit later during this presentation, you can actually launch your own confidential assets from within the user interface that have all kinds of use cases, can be used for all kinds of use cases. And also, not to forget, the privacy was upgraded to be on par with Monero. So our ring size went from 11 to 16. 16 rings is also what Monero has. And we introduced ring CT hidden amounts. And last but not least is the burning of all transaction fees. So on Zano, all the transaction fees of the network are paid in Zano, 0.01 Zano per transactions, a flat fee. Doesn't matter if you create an asset, do a Zano transaction or a confidential asset transaction, all has to be paid in Zano. And these fees are immediately burned. So that means the more the Zano ecosystem becomes adopted, used, the more Zano will also be burned. So actually, right on time. So, good question. So, by burned, I mean that they are being taken out of circulation. So you actually, as a project, Zano has a circulating supply, right? That all the coins that are in circulation, and when you do a transaction, you actually pay a little fee, which is at 0.01 Zano, and once you do that, it basically burns. It is being taken out of circulation, so it's not in the total supply anymore. Right, goes into a black hole. Any other questions? The advantage is creating scarcity, right? So we have actually a constant inflation from the block rewards that secure the network, right? Because you need an incentive for people to actually secure your blockchain, right? You need to create incentive via the block reward so that people will actually have a reason to mine or stake. So and at Zano, the block time is 1 minute and the block reward is 1 Zano. So there's a constant inflation of 1 Zano per minute. But actually by doing these burns, hopefully at some point you'll reach a certain amount of daily transactions where they surpass the emission of the block rewards, and that could actually make your supply deflationary over time. The sir in the back. Right. I believe it's a good question. I'm head of marketing, so I would actually recommend you to ask this to Andre himself, who's in charge of network consensus at Zano. But there's a reason for it. He's of the opinion that Porcfest, which is the mining algorithm that we use, is actually better than Random X for a bunch of reasons. But I would recommend you to ask him directly to give you those reasons. Anyone else? Okay, then we continue. Great. So let's get you familiar with the Zanoverse. Here's a QR code that leads to the download page of Zano. You can also go, for the people at home, you can go to zano.org/downloads, and there you can find how to download the Zano mobile wallet. You can also go directly to the App Store or Play Store. It's on both of those, but some people might want to download the APK file directly from the website. You can also do that. So I'll give you like 1 to 2 minutes to just go through this, download the mobile wallet, and then we'll continue. Yes, Cake Wallet is an option too. Actually, Zano is supported by Cake Wallet, Edge Wallet, Bitcoin.com Wallet. But for this workshop, we actually need the Zano mobile wallet because it has all the features that give you access to you know, what makes the Zano ecosystem special, such as registering an alias, creating your own asset, accessing the Zano trade decks, and all the other dApps. Give me a quick thumbs up if you installed it. I mean, we'll walk you through afterwards, but if it's on your device, yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'll continue now. If you still need help, there's two gentlemen in the back, Ronnie and Tees. They can actually give you some personal help if you need it. So if you open the mobile wallet for the first time, you'll see this screen on the left right here. You can ignore these wallets that I have created here for multiple conferences we attend. You actually want to click on that plus icon on the top left that says add, and it brings you to the second screen, which says create new wallet. You click on that, and then you fill out the whatever it says on the right, the wallet name. That's just a name for your wallet file, by the way. It's not important. You can put 123 there. You can put your name there, whatever you like. The wallet password actually is important, so put something strong there. For this workshop, we're not going to put any significant amounts. I'm not giving away any significant amounts of Zano today, sorry. So it's not too important. I would actually recommend you to just go through as quick as possible now. And then when you're at home, just, you know, take your time and actually set up a proper strong password and all of that. So when you walk through those first three screens, you will be seeing another three screens. It actually will show you your seed phrase. At first you have to put a password that secures your seed phrase. This is an optional additional security feature. You don't have to do that, although I would recommend it because people can access your wallet if they manage to acquire your seed phrase wherever you may have hidden it. Then they can access your wallet. Whereas if you put in a password to secure your seed phrase, they would actually also need that password to finally have access to your wallet. So it's like an additional security step. If you have done that, you'll see the screen on the right, which is what we need for the rest of this workshop. If you need to be creative with hiding your seed phrase, you can actually dig some holes in your garden and split your seed phrase into multiple pieces and hide them, or write them on the back of your wallpaper at home. Or yeah, you can be creative with it as you want. So I would need some thumbs up when everyone is ready. Perfect. Perfect. Is everyone ready? Is there anyone that needs some additional help? We have two gentlemen in the back that can help you. Cool. Okay, so then we can actually continue. Now we get to the exciting part, claiming some free Zano. So you can either scan this QR code, or easiest thing to do is if you have your mobile wallet open, on the bottom right, it says it has this little button says browser. You click on that. It's the built-in browser of the Zano mobile wallet, and you type in there claim.zano.org. You go there, and it allows you to create to claim some new Zano for free. It will probably ask you for a password, and that's Porcfest, all in small letters. And there's not too much Zano in this faucet that allows you to claim some free Zano, by the way. So only for the first 100 people or so that are fast enough to claim half a Zano, you can get some free Zano. Half a Zano is probably worth, actually, before I checked, it was worth $4.20, $4.20. Still the same. Perfect. So you can actually get yourself a drink at the cost of Zano. Did that work for everyone? Yes, yes. Anyone that needs some extra help? If not, then we are good to proceed. So now, before we can respend that 0.5 Zano to register an alias, for example, we need to wait for 10 block confirmations. Like I said before, block time of Zano is 1 minute, so we need to wait for roughly 10 minutes before we can respend our balance. Why is that? That's a simple protection measure against double spend attacks. This is just the architecture of the blockchain. And you will actually see this with pretty much any blockchain that you interact with. So now we actually need to kill some time, but it won't be boring, because I will actually dive into a few dApps and assets that have been launched on the Zano blockchain already. Before we get to that, I want to show you this screen where you can buy some Zano if you're interested. On the left, there's a QR code that takes you to Alchemy Pay, and that's a fiat on-ramp, so it actually allows you to buy Zano directly with a credit or debit card. But I must say also as a disclaimer, that is a KYC service, meaning that you will reveal your identity to Alchemy Pay, because obviously you're also using your bank, of course. So if you really want to get some Zano in a truly anonymous way, I would recommend the screen on the left. So you would need some crypto already. Sorry, on the right. Thank you, sir. That was confusing indeed. On the right, and that actually takes you to XMRtopia.com, which is one of our swap partners. And you can swap over, I believe, 2,000 other cryptocurrencies into Zano, and also the other way. So if you already happen to have Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, anything else, Monero, USDT, you can simply swap it into Zano through XMRtopia. Yes, sir. So I believe XMRtopia doesn't require any QIC for their swap service. So that's without QIC, but of course it will depend on how you acquired the asset that you want to swap. So if, I mean, you can acquire BTC peer-to-peer with someone. That's actually the best way to do it, to stay completely anonymous. But also for Bitcoin, you can acquire that via an exchange or a broker or anything of that. And usually, with anything that you attach your bank account to, it basically reveals your identity to that service. Yes, Zano is on Trocador as well. So what is the Zano mobile wallet? It's your gateway to the broader Zano ecosystem. So you can actually do many things with this wallet. You can send and receive Zano and any confidential assets. You can actually also use Cake Wallet, Edge Wallet, and the Bitcoin.com wallet for doing just that. But the next 3 points are actually exclusive to the Zano mobile or desktop wallet, because you can register your Zano alias through it, which is like your username on the Zano blockchain. You can create and manage confidential assets, which are your own privacy tokens that anyone can create at a very low cost. And then lastly, you can access dApps via the browser, the built-in browsers, such as Zano Trade or the Zano Messenger, and there's many more, of course. So these are a few examples of projects that have been built on top of Zano. Also, disclaimer here is these projects are built by third parties on Zano, except for Zano Trade and Zano Matrix. Those are built by us. But Zano Bay, Freedom Dollar, Confidential Layer, Obscura, those are all built by people that basically make use of our Zano blockchain to build their to release their own assets and build their own dApps. So now a little bit into Zano Trade. Zano Trade is our own decentralized exchange. It's based on ionic swaps, which is an improvement of atomic swaps. It allows you to trade directly with anyone peer-to-peer without any intermediaries or servers or anything involved. So you can actually trade between everyone here peer-to-peer. And you can trade any confidential asset in Zano with each other. And then there's Zano Bay. This one is really cool. Not developed by us, actually by a bunch of community members. This is a peer-to-peer marketplace built on Zano. So you can, if you're a skilled person, you can offer services there. And of course, you can also sell goods there, or if you have a basement full of crap that you want to get rid of, put it on Zano Bay and maybe get some Zano or FUSD for it. Then there's Freedom Dollar. This one is quite interesting because this is a privacy stablecoin built on top of Zano that is actually much better than traditional stablecoins that you're probably familiar with, like USDT or USDC, because Tether can, the Tether Foundation can actually blacklist your addresses, like freeze your assets. So let's say you did something they don't like, they can actually freeze your assets. You can never touch them again. It's basically programmable money. It's actually as bad as a CBDC. And that you can do that with Freedom Dollar because you can't even see addresses on Zano, let alone blacklist them. That's not possible, simply impossible. So it's actually censorship-resistant stablecoin built on Zano. The second thing that is really interesting about it is that it is private as Zano itself. So you can't see amounts, you can't see the asset type that was transacted, you can see the wallet addresses involved. So that first image that I showed you at the start of the presentation where with a transaction happened, that's all you can see. And the last thing that's really interesting about Freedom Dollar, makes it a lot better than something like Tether, is that they actually have a way to prove their reserves, right? So Tether just mints a billion USDT on, I don't know, every week almost, or every month. Yeah. And they don't have anything to, like, they don't prove their reserves, right? So it's actually as bad as the banking system with fractional reserves, or maybe even worse, who knows? We don't know, because you can't verify. But with Freedom Dollar, there's a feature on Zano called auditable wallets, and it's a special type of wallet that you can create as a user on Zano, and then it gives you a special type of key that you can share with anyone. It's actually on the website of Freedom Dollar itself. And you, as a user, can just import that in your wallet, and you can actually see and verify the balance of that specific wallet, and also see the in and outgoing transactions. So this is basically used for situations where you rather verify than trust. So Freedom Dollar is backed by Zano, and they actually have, like, I believe the circulating supply. I mean, they just launched like 8 weeks ago. The circulating supply is something like 1.3 million FUSD right now. And they have about like $2.4 million in Zano in their reserves that they can prove via this auditable wallet and that anyone here can verify. So that's pretty cool and so much better than something like Tether. So I actually hope to see that this will, get a lot of adoption. And then this is actually one of my favorites. This is confidential layer. This one is quite technical, so please stay with me. And if you don't understand anything, please raise your hand. Confidential layer is a bridge that is multi-chain that allows you to bridge your favorite assets like Bitcoin Cash, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, and bridge it onto the Zano blockchain, upgrading it with the privacy and security of the Zano blockchain. So how that works is you send your Bitcoin to a native Bitcoin blockchain address that is maintained, like managed by the bridge nodes of confidential layer. And then it mints the equivalent amount on the Zano blockchain, essentially like a wrapped version of it, a synthetic version, if you will, on the Zano blockchain. And any asset minted on the Zano blockchain is always backed one-on-one because it stays locked in on the respective native blockchain until someone unwraps it again. So this is very cool. Like you can use this as a mixer or, to basically make your Bitcoin or any other asset untraceable because you just put the native currency in the reserve wallet, and then it gets minted on Zano, and you can actually send it to someone else. And on Zano, you're completely private, right? You're completely untraceable, so you can send it to someone else. You can bridge it to another blockchain. You can swap it for something else, or you can, after a certain amount of time, whenever you like, you can unwrap it again. You can actually unwrap it in multiple pieces. So let's say we take that 0.29 BTC as an example. You put that in, and then you could actually break it up into multiple pieces so that the amount that you put in and take out doesn't really correlate anymore on the Bitcoin blockchain, so that it's, because otherwise people can still recognize a pattern, right? So you have to be smart about how you use this. And this has all kinds of benefits for the Zano blockchain as well, because like I said, the transaction fees on Zano are burned, and all transaction fees are paid in Zano, also for sending any confidential assets, so also these wrapped assets. So this will likely result in a surge in daily transactions, and therefore also burns of the Zano coin. So yeah, I mean, this one isn't live, I must say that. I believe the latest thing I read about is they go live in about 2 months. Their token is live, but the bridge itself, they're still working on that, and it's about to go live in like 2 months. Then we get to Obscura, which is a private NFT platform that allows you to create, manage, and trade Obscuras, as they call it, privately. So, whoa. So many of you are probably already familiar with OpenSea, which is like a platform where you can trade NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain, for example. Because back in the last bull run, there was a lot of hype around images on the blockchain, right? About NFTs. You might have heard of Bored Apes, for example, and some of these were very unique, and there was a high demand for this, and they became worth multiple millions of dollars. But then you have the same issue again, right? I mean, if somehow someone is able to link your transparent Ethereum address to you, they actually know, they can see that you have that special type of NFT and that is worth a lot of money, and it's a security risk for you as the user. So why not have private NFTs on a blockchain like Zano? So then there's Obscura for you that allows you to do just that. Then we get a little bit into Zano Matrix, which is Zano. Actually, this is not something like that we developed. We just make use of something that already exists, which is Matrix. Matrix is an encrypted messenger that is very popular amongst many users. And you just use your Zano alias to authenticate yourself on the Zano Matrix. So actually, this grants you access to our Zano Matrix server. And on there, all your messages are fully encrypted. We can't read them either. Everything you do there is completely shielded. But this way, people can actually easily connect with you, right? So people can connect to you. So let's say you want to trade something on Zano Bay, or you want to trade with someone on Zano Trade, the DEX, or anything else, maybe an Obscura. You can actually connect with the other person via his anonymous identity, which is his Zano alias. And this is in no way connected to your true identity, but still this is the way for people to connect with you. And actually, it's like it became the heart of the Zano ecosystem, where people just chat with each other in the Zano ecosystem and have debates and share their knowledge and what they would like to see on Zano. So yeah, I would really recommend to join this, and you can actually join it right after you have registered your Zano alias. If you have a matrix client like Element, for example, there's multiple clients that give you access to matrix. So what is a Zano alias? Well, I already explained that. It's your username on the Zano blockchain. It's actually an NFT as well on the Zano blockchain, because there's just one and it's unique, truly unique. So they can only be registered, like it's one of each username, and it's tied to your blockchain address. And it actually makes the Zano blockchain a lot more user-friendly, right? Because then I don't need your blockchain address anymore to send you some Zano, but I can just send some Zano or any confidential asset to your username, your alias on the Zano blockchain that is easy to remember. And lots of dApps on the Zano ecosystem use this also for authentication, like I just told you. Actually, you can also attach a reputation system to it. So, for example, something like Zano Bay could make use of Zano alias and tie a reputation system to it. So you actually can leave reviews, similar to how you do that on, for example, eBay. You can give someone reviews based on what they sold you and if you like it or not. But then actually you stay completely anonymous, but you're still able to know if the vendor that you're buying from has, good credibility. So registering a Zano alias costs 0.11 Zano. So at this moment, that's like 90 cents, $90. It has to be between 6 and 12 characters, lowercase is A to Z, Arabic numbers 0 to 9. We have set these requirements so that we can avoid phishing on the Zano with the Zano usernames, right? So because sometimes like a small L looks, much alike like a capital I, for example, and you don't want this. So it's just to avoid phishing and impersonating. So it's your anonymous identity within the Zano ecosystem, and they're actually already tradable. So you can actually exchange them between Zano blockchain users. So you can just move them to another blockchain address if that's what you want. And soon we'll launch our own alias auction platform where you will actually be able to offer them on a platform and actually trade them with each other. There was a request from our community to do this. So of course, we like that idea very much. And you can actually, you already have examples of that. Like, for example, in Ethereum here, you have ENS, Ethereum Name Service. And some of the popular names, actually, there's a high demand for them and they become tradable as well. So you could soon do that with Zano aliases as well. Yeah, before I continue, actually, you can now hopefully register your Zano alias yourself, because I think I've talked long enough to pass those 10 minutes. So please open your mobile wallet again and see if you can register your own Zano alias right now. Ronnie can help you. Anyone else that needs a little bit of extra help? Okay, all right. If you don't have enough block confirmations yet, we just wait a little longer. I will just continue finishing my presentation and you can stick around for a couple more minutes and I'll just help you one-on-one in a couple more minutes. So if you're a merchant, I also want to put this out there. If you're a merchant here on Porcfest at Agora Valley, you actually have this very convenient point of sale system named Zano.cash. You can go there and it just allows you to accept Zano or FUSD, and you just put in the dollar amount for the product that you're selling. And then, for example, when you want to accept Zano, it automatically converts that into a Zano amount with whatever the price at that point is. And then a user can scan that QR code that it generated and with his mobile wallet, and it autofills the amount, and you just click on send. And then the merchant actually gets like a green check mark on his screen whenever it's received. It should be like nearly instant. If you're an e-commerce, like a web shop owner, you can use Coin Remitter. to accept Zano through your e-commerce website. And there's also WooCommerce Zano Gateway that allows you to accept Zano through WooCommerce. And there's actually many more payment processors being in the works. We're getting integrated on all sorts of payment processors. So that actually becomes very convenient and easy to accept Zano or FUSD or any confidential asset for you as a merchant. So if you're interested in joining the Zano ecosystem, here's 2 QR codes. The one on the left is intro.zano.org. I'm just naming it for the people that are at home and have a hard time on the live stream scanning this QR code. And it takes you to the intro page of Zano, which actually is like a walkthrough, like an introduction to the Zano ecosystem, similar to how we did that just now. But if you want to, do that again at your own convenience, at your own speed, you can go there. And on the right, it says links.zano.org. It's basically our link tree with all the links. So the website, the documentation, the research papers, our communities, YouTube channel, Twitter, all of that. So that was it, everyone. Thank you for your attention and have a great day. Test, yes. Yes, sir. What's your question? Oh. Well, I mean, a government, like there are so many governments, right? They all have their own jurisdictions and they can do whatever they like, but how are they going to enforce that? That's the big question, right? If you already have I'm not like telling you to do anything illegal right here, but I'm just putting out there, like, how are they going to enforce that? Are they somehow going to kick in your door because you have a Zano wallet or Monero wallet? I don't know. They could, yes, they could. So it's a valid question, a valid problem. I think especially in Europe, this applies a lot at the moment. So, but our developers, for example, are located in Dubai, so conveniently located and quite safe at the moment, I must say. Although they can always change at any moment, right? So, of course, you're never truly safe. Anything can happen, but it's worth taking a risk, and it doesn't stop the Zano developers from working on Zano. I would simply say that's not really true. I mean, the centralized point of failure would be the team behind it, right? You could all, in theory, you could kill all of us, and then you could say it's the end of the project. But that can happen to any project, can happen to Monero as well, to any other project. So, no, I mean, Zano is like a decentralized community. So, and it's also completely open source, by the way. So if we are not there, anyone can really like, you can actually contribute yourself as well and take over if you would. No, not really. I mean, we do have companies registered, like, but that's more of like for certain infrastructure types or centralized exchange listings. They actually have a requirement that you have like a business registration. So we use it for those type of things, but it's not that that we are all part of some kind of company or something. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Right. So I don't know the complete details about both of these, but for example, in Haven, I can make a comment that I believe there was like an exploit, like an inflation bug in their code, which caused it. I would say, I mean, that can always happen with Zano too, right? It can happen to Monero, it can happen to Zano. You never really can like 100% surely say that it can happen, but I can say that Zano dev team is very competent, and the code has been audited by multiple companies as well, like CipherStack and ImmuneFi and stuff like that. So I would say it's unlikely to happen, such a thing. And in Luna's case, they actually had their, I believe it was UST, right? Was their stable coin, and their coin was Luna, and it really didn't have any use case except for being the coin that backed UST, whereas Zano has all kinds of other use cases and is used for a way like broader, bigger ecosystem, and you can actually stake your Zano, and that actually that's something that FUSD does as well. They stake their Zano holdings so that basically it grows over time. So that's like a significant difference that that I would like to tell you about as well. It's a good question. I think it's kind of similar to Monero, I would say. I mean, the transactions per second, if that's what we're talking about, don't get anywhere near something like Solana, right? It's super fast, but it's also super centralized, which makes it super fast. So it's all about trade-offs. I believe Zano is not even 1 or 2% of its capacity limit. And there's this thing called sharding that would allow you to scale more, that the Zano team would look into if we get more through like towards the or maximum capacity. So if we close in, we would prioritize the sharding research and probably come up with some kind of solution for that. Yes, Zano has dynamic blocks as well. Yes, yes. There are plans for that. I believe that we are dependent, however, on Monero developers like Luke Parker for this feature, full chain membership proofs. I do also believe that our lead researcher and also core developer Andre is in touch with them actually, and they are looking to implement it into the Zano code base as well whenever it's ready. But I must also say that it is more comprehensive, more complicated to implement into the Zano code base because of the confidential assets. That actually adds another layer of complexity. So that actually makes it even harder to implement than, for example, on Monero. So we'll probably also take maybe a little bit longer for Zano to implement that. Anything else? Cool. Thank you.